1. All right. Let me know if we can, if you can hear.
You just gotta remember. I'm like
Yes, the delay.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess I should keep
myself?
talking. Can you hear me? Can you hear
can
background
hear Sam.
music?
I can hear AJ. Now I just need Lucy to speak.
Hello, I'm here. Can I be heard?
Yes, you can. Sorry, I just had to like
Yay.
wait like the 3-second delay. Like, all right. So welcome everyone. We just had to test our audio. This is WovenRealm. If you didn't see that, welcome. If you did see that, welcome. We're still raising funds for the Trans Law Center, right? Or did we change? Or
Nope.
still
Still.
going.
Yep.
Because we're
just doing it through the finale, I suppose.
we're gonna perpetual fundraising. All right. So anyway, you may notice Chris is missing. It's like the first time in like I don't know, like years that Chris has missed a session. I'm gonna be real.
Oh, jeez, yeah.
So this is WovenRealm. We missed last week. We killed Blackheart last time. Well, we didn't kill him. We defeated him in a pitched fight inside of Oleander's psyche. Actually, I wrote a summary. What am I doing? No wonder why I'm over here floundering. The Emerald Caravan did battle with the Demon Lord Blackheart within Oleander's psyche. During their battle, Blackheart called into question the judgment of themselves as an evil being, while also summoning their bride, the Raven Queen Absinthe Morrigan, to the battle, mentioning their role in uniting the realms. Whilst villainously monologuing, Blackheart revealed his ultimate plan. To use Oleander, and then have Absinthe use her Daerune's progeny and Azara as vehicles to take the divine order for themselves. Woohoo. Overcoming shadows, terror, and hatred, the Emerald Caravan found themselves victorious over their foes. As Oleander stood over her vanquished enemy, she was presented with a triad of fates, roll credits, to choose from to determine the destiny of the split shadowed soul of Blackheart and Absinthe. Option 1. Oleander overpowers Blackheart and imprisons his portion of the shadowed soul within herself. And then option 2. Oleander banishes Blackheart and the shadowed soul from herself. And finally, option 3. Oleander forges fate anew with beginning and end. The shadowed soul is merged together. So, Oleander, time sort of has stopped for a second within. It's your psyche, so you know, like whatever happens on the outside world right now, who cares? But you're kind of standing there with your Emerald Caravan, just kind of looking at the shadowed soul, the two portions of the shadowed soul before you. Oh fuck, what's it called? Beginning and end. The soul hammer in your hand before you, presenting these options, so to speak, as if this were an RPG of sorts.
If only it were.
There are some consequences to go over with these choices. I know we as a cast have kind of explored some of the outcomes here outside of the game, but I do want to go over some of the outcomes here that Oleander, you would be able to kind of see to be able to happen. I mean, it does help. You have Vercingetorix, who has seen a lot of weird shit in the plains.
He's seen the time knife.
Yeah, they've seen the time knife. And then you have Azara with the Helm of Serenity, who has like literally mapped the plains to find Gehenna. So like Azara's seen some shit. So you know, you can get some divination, I suppose. This is the freebies, and then afterward, I will leave room for people to make their case for which choice they feel that they would like Oleander to make. I know Soren would have liked to go with banishment, but Chris had told me Soren is skulking off.
I thought Soren.
No, imprisonment. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. But Soren has skulked off to go think about his mommy. And I'm not even kidding. His mom sucks. And also, Chris said, and I quote, Soren realizes that although he may be able to voice his opinion, it's not like it would hold much weight with Oleander in the end. So, you know what?
Pretty fair.
Point. Yeah, so, option 1. Oleander overpowers Blackheart and imprisons his portion of the shadowed soul within herself. So what does this mean for Oleander herself? She maintains her necromancy and her state of undeath. Cat butt. Oleander, then you would likely achieve a strange form of lichdom without needing a phylactery, making you biologically immortal.
I mean,
Fun.
here for that.
Blackheart becomes imprisoned within Oleander for the remainder of her unnatural life. That brings me back to an Avenged Sevenfold song. So then you would have to basically spend your whole life within fighting Blackheart's influence in your psyche. Good luck with that. Absinthe Morrigan would return to the Shadowfell and maintain her seat as the Queen of Raven. I mean, the Raven Queen. Man, I'm really struggling with my words tonight. So basically, Oleander, it sounds like you would be leaving 1, the Shadowfell unchanged, and 2, a nice enemy plotting against you alive in the end. All right, so that's option 1's outcome. Option 2, Oleander banishes Blackheart and the shadowed soul from herself. Here's where things kind of get wild. Oleander regains the wizardry Undeath had robbed her of and removes the necromancy from herself, returning herself to life. Blackheart is banished from Oleander's psyche, and Absinthe Morrigan would also be banished. Certain implications can be made with the banishment of Blackheart's soul from Oleander about purifying St. Oriana's lineage, and the Raven Throne would effectively be left empty, creating a power vacuum in the Shadowfell. And then there's the third part. There's that part. Okay. You'll have to ask the Hammer for that one, though. That's juicy. That's too juicy to just give you.
Ooh.
Oleander forges fate anew with beginning and end. Shadow Soul is merged, which would effectively merge Blackheart and Absinthe Morrigan into one being. Oleander, as to the state of your undeath, wizardry, necromancy, it's hard to determine. You might need to consult with the Hammer. Blackheart and Absinthe would be merged together as their portions of the shadowed soul become one entity. What entity that would be? Shrug. The Shadowfell would probably be rocked to its very core if you did this. Again, this is the cryptic, strange option that, again, how convenient. You can ask the Hammer 3 questions. But first, before asking the Hammer questions, Oleander, I must ask, is there any option that you're leaning towards?
Is there any option I'm leaning towards? Sorry, my headphones cut out a bit.
Yes.
So, honestly, I think Oleander's immediate gut instinct is the imprisonment, but then she kind of reconsiders the idea of, like, you know, leaving Absinthe kicking around. Primarily because she just doesn't trust anybody but herself to make sure that Blackheart never breaks out or comes back somehow. But I think after considering even the other things briefly, she's leaning probably towards banishment as a way of trying to just get rid of that known factor of the shadowed soul entirely. Or as entirely as she thinks is possible. So I think that's where she's leaning at the moment.
Okay. And at this moment, the GM is going to open up the debate floor in Oleander's mind to anyone who would like to make their case, so to speak. You can do it as in character or kind of like how Sam just kind of had Oleander. Like, you're all psychically linked at this point. Yes, I've been playing Baldur's Gate 3, don't at me. So, like, you don't even need to really, like, talk with each other. You can kind of just, like, think it. Like, your thoughts can kind of just project to each other. It's probably the most in sync the Emerald Caravan will ever be. If no one is prepared to make their arguments, I have prepared Vercingetorix's arguments or personal opinion. But I figured I'd let you... Uh-oh. Some kitty cat just is a bad kitty cat.
I'll be right back.
I mean, I know what my argument would be, but I don't know how put together it is. Like, I know. Oh.
Look at that little criminal.
Oh, kitties.
Oh, kitty
like,
cats.
I know what Constance's opinion is. I just don't know how well spoken it's gonna be.
That's okay. Like, okay. Well, Lucy is clearly examining the crime scene and the evidence.
Oh no.
So Vercingetorix's opinions are nuanced, complicated, and, well, a lot of them are rooted in his own personal experiences. Go figure. He is absolutely against Oleander imprisoning Blackheart within her psyche. Because his argument is you have fought so far to get rid of him, and you have that chance, and instead you're going to do the complete opposite? No. Also, like, Vercingetorix is like, no, like, that's Blackheart, dude. Like, I respect you as my sister, but, like, I don't even trust myself to manage Blackheart. In terms of banishing Blackheart, Vercingetorix could understand if Oleander took this course of action. It is the clearer course of action. There are less variables to contend with, and plus purification, and it is also basically what Oleander has been working for. Her wizardry back was a benefit she never thought she'd get, so Vercingetorix could understand if he took that position. But he's actually going to lean towards option 3. Even though there are the most unknown variables, Vercingetorix, 1, finds comfort in finally having some level of mystery when it comes to the planes. 2, his own personal experience, the love of his life, Constance and Minerva, are a merged being. And that is, like, proper for them, Constance and Minerva, to be a merged being. So if these two things are meant to be merged, and it would bring balance to the planes. I'm a druid, so balance. And then also, the part that he would not share, though, if Oleander pried enough into his own thoughts, would he be... With option 3, there's the chance for the first time ever in the history of everything for a demon soul to find redemption. And Vercingetorix just would love to have the peace of knowing that perhaps there is a chance, even for the most wicked and damned of creatures. So that's why he would choose option 3. So mainly TLDR, his experience basically as being a tiefling, one of the progeny of these demonic creatures. His wife, because he's a wife guy, as we've established. And, yeah, that's about it. But, like, he, again, would completely understand if Oleander said, yeah, there are too many fucking variables there. I'm going with option 2.
Right.
All right, anyone else want to present their characters' opinions?
I can.
All right, let's hear it, Azara.
I think Azara's vote would be for option 3, kind of for similar reasons as Vercingetorix. Because first of all, option 1, absolutely not. That's not a good idea. She doesn't like that idea at all. Mostly because, well, 1, eternity is a long fucking time to wage a war against, like, the most evil being. And she's pretty confident that maybe Oleander could hold Blackheart back for 1,000 years, maybe 2,000, maybe a long time, but certainly not forever. And, you know, Azara is a cleric. She believes in second chances. And so she'd throw her lot in behind option 3.
For Constance, she's honestly... Her number 1 priority in this decision is actually Oleander's happiness long term. And she does not think that option 1, absorbing Blackheart, will bring Oleander any peace or happiness throughout fair life. And Oleander deserves better than that. 2 feels like the safest. Feels like the safe option. Like, that's the one that everything feels like it's pointing to that you should do because it's the most... It is the most apparently altruistic out of all of the options to banish Blackheart. But when it comes to the option to merge the 2, she just conveys this sense of peace that she has now with Minerva and Constance, the 2 parts of her. How they strike that balance and bring like a calmness that wasn't there before. And this sense that it's just right. And that feels like a sign to her that maybe it's worth that chance. But she also just wants to convey that she will support Oleander in her decision regardless of what it is.
Oh.
All right. The time has not come yet, Oleander. We've come to the next portion of tonight's game show. The 3 questions. A triad of fates. It's only fair if you get a triad of questions. The beginning and end actually expresses to Oleander a desire that it wishes it could actually give her more insight into the outcomes of these actions, because how can you properly forge fate without the proper knowledge that Aor would have had? But alas, beginning and end is at a fraction of the power it once held. But it has enough to provide some divination, some idea of the consequences your choice could wrought upon the realm in campaigns to come.
I like it.
No
Okay.
pressure.
Yeah, no pressure. NBD. Alright, so I know we were trying to think of some questions earlier for us to ask.
Yes.
Yeah. Some of the possible questions we had were, what does the future of Kovith look like if Blackheart is imprisoned? Right? That was number 1, I think.
Yeah, if Oleander keeps like Blackheart's powers within herself, how would that affect Fair Reign?
Okay.
That was my question.
Yeah. And then the other one actually you suggested was what happens to Oleander's powers if they meld the soul, because that was the one that we don't know still. Mm-hmm. So that's actually a good one.
And then I think your questions, your other suggestion was like, what happens to the people in the in-between place?
In the Shadowfell.
In the
Yeah.
Shadowfell. Yeah, like, do they go to the in-between? Do they just, like, not exist anymore?
Yeah, or, like, I mean, so, Vercingetorix would just kind of be like, Val, if you're not even... Would just kind of be like, are you considering one option over the other? If you're, like, if there's one you're not even considering, don't even bother asking about that one.
It's true.
Yeah, is there anything that's just right out? I mean, I would assume that at this point we're past the option of letting them inhabit you for whatever purposes.
Yeah, I suppose so. That does seem the most risky thing. I frankly don't like the idea of, at the very least, leaving Absinthe around to work against me or the Empire.
Sister, if I may, I have spent a lifetime fighting a portion of Lycus's power within my own mind, and have failed timelessly. I could not imagine what it would be like to try and contain an entity like Blackheart and all of its power.
I mean, plus having an entity made of hate in your heart, going into a new marriage, just doesn't seem like a recipe for success to me.
No, I suppose that is good to consider. I'm not so sure I like the person I have been for the last year or so, with Blackheart's more actively meddling in my affairs, so I think perhaps you are right, and that is most likely not an option we should keep on the table, as it were. But banishing or melding them, as you say, it leaves so many unknowns. The second one, I have not just my happiness to think about, but the safety of the entire empire now. I don't know which will keep them safest.
And we don't know, could merging them make them more evil? If you just put the evil plus the evil.
Right, if we are simply
I mean,
reuniting.
maybe it cancels each other out, but it could just get worse.
I suppose that is something we could try to ask about. Okay, well, we at least... I think I would definitely like to know what would happen to me and my powers if we were to go ahead with the melding, because I think banishing still might be the safest thing for the Empire, but I don't know. Constance and Versi, Azara, you've all made some very strong points, and if I'm going to actually try to remedy some of the mistakes of the Empire and, you know, my family, then I need to do better at listening to you, to those around me, and not just myself, so I think that would be a good insight to have.
I just watched Tales of Interest, so it's just basically the What Ifinator. So, the hammer is like, is it that? But your question? That, but as a question.
What if that thing I said?
What is that thing I said?
Well, I get it. It's important that the Empress of Kovith has a little, a oomph behind her. Gotta have some
It's
powers
true.
to be respected.
So the hammer basically, like, as you ask your question, it's just it kind of flashes for a moment and it computes and returns. Well, if you're forging fate of new, well, I suppose you could use us to either maintain the power you have now or let it be with the weave, as it were, and regain that which was lost. The choice would be yours. You are the one wielding I.
So I could still get my arcane abilities back.
Level 8 wizard, baby, is like what the
Aw,
hammer's
man.
like.
I, Sam, love the idea of getting to roll into the next combat we have as level 8 wizard Oleander.
Wizard's pretty litty in this system.
She'd have counter spell.
Oh, that is pretty dope.
We've made it the whole campaign without it so far, and you know.
Meanwhile, Agora spells counterspell, 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 counterspell.
God, that was so awesome, though.
You have 2 questions remain.
Okay. Well, that information definitely makes Olander a little bit happier about option 3.
Just had to burn a question for it.
Right? I'm trying to think. I do think it's still good to know what will happen to, like, people living in or from the Shadowfell if we just totally change its state of existence. Because we've been there. We know there are, like, cultures and, like, people from, like, that plane and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
Olander doesn't want to,
Then
snap
we have,
everyone
like, the
away.
Shack who have, like, escaped the eye of a black hole, like, the singularity of a black hole, and, like, the Shadowfell is, like, a vacation, comparatively.
Yeah, like, she just doesn't want to, blink, like, people out of existence just trying to deal with Blackheart, pretty much. Like,
So is the question? So phrase it as a question.
yeah.
What if that thing I
this
said?
time I'll phrase it. Yeah, I think she'll ask, what happens to those who currently live in and have come from the Shadowfell if the fates are forged anew.
Well, they would merely move and merge with the Shadowfell. For the Shadowfell itself is split asunder in its own nature.
Okay, so no Thanosing. That's good.
I'm not just like, it's not just erase the history of the Shadowfell up until now or something like that by the sound of it.
We're not gonna send him to that place where Soren spent a portion of his afterlife.
Yeah, that was totally something she was worried about, was like, if she totally changes the existence of like a plane, do they just get like booped over there?
I may read the stars one last time. Then you must make a decision.
Whew. All right. One last question. Does anyone have any thoughts or opinions? Because I think we've gone through the ones that we've thought of already.
I, as Vercingetorix and the GM, can think of two you haven't thought of off the top of my head. And that basically is one, okay, you know what happens to Blackheart in Banishing, but what happens with, like, Absinthe, I guess, right? Like, what does that entail? Or then two would be, what does merging, like, what do they become when they merge?
Yeah, we could still ask if they get double evil or if the evil cancels out the evil. If it's negative plus negative makes positive.
Is it PEMDAS? What's happening?
Yeah, it's like, is this math rules or does it just get exponentially more evil?
I'll be damned, he did become a double Yeti.
Was this one of those weird instances where it's like we're not interpreting good and evil correctly?
Right? No, I think that's a good one to do, I think. So I'm like, what's the best way to word it? I guess it's just like, I don't know, would it be like, what is...
Will merging them make them worse?
Well, will the merged entity retain its evil nature? I don't know.
I'm like, will merging... I also don't know how specific, like, the hammer can answer things, so...
I don't know, fuck around and find out, right?
I know, that's why I'm like, I don't want to waste the last question.
Can I get more questions? No.
I don't know, maybe, I mean, like, we could just try asking, like, what exactly becomes of the merged souls?
Yeah.
The merged shadow soul?
Okay.
Because I guess at this point we really have, like, we don't even know what that means. Is it, like, going to be some material effect? Or are they just going to, like, be out in space?
Yeah. Are they going to be, like, a giant because they're two people combined?
So will they be a double Yeti?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the question is just, like, what exactly becomes of the merged shadow soul if we forge anew.
If I may be honest, Wielder, even I cannot be certain of what life the merged entity would live. But the value of good and evil would be left up to that of the life lived.
Value of good and evil be that up to that of a life lived.
Remember, I reserved GM Fiat to be as cryptic as I like.
So, I feel like I want to interpret that sort of as whatever they become will be sort of the same as any mortal,
Like a new
as-
thing?
as
Like a new being?
fallible or yeah, perhaps a new being, but I think just sort of as prone to good and evil as any of us mortals are, rather than I think perhaps being beholden to a demon lord vibe, as it were. But I don't know if that's actually what it means. We could be totally wrong. Scheiße.
Unless they're, I mean, could be talking about our life lived, or more specifically, your life lived, where it becomes only as good / evil as we are / you are.
Sounds more like the hammer is just sort of saying that the new soul would have free will. At least that's what I heard.
Well, that's good.
I just wish I knew for sure the certainty of what would happen to completely change the Shadowfell so thoroughly. It makes me nervous to have such a big unknown.
Me too.
I mean, we're going into big unknowns anyway.
That is also true.
We have to go, kill a bunch more gods and then decide what to do after that.
I think we entered the realm of unknown when the Soul Forge was sundered.
Oh, yeah, we did do that.
We did.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? At this point, I figure the seal's broken.
That is one way to consider it, for sure.
At this point, Oleander, I don't think there's a right and wrong decision. I think there's just what decision you feel you can live with at the end of the day. And whatever becomes of that. You never asked to be made responsible for the shadowed soul. Circumstance brought you here.
And for better or worse, it's your decision, and no one can take that from you.
You're the one who carries the burden.
I appreciate that, but I truly do value all of your opinions and what you think of my choice, and honestly, what you think of me. That matters. Well, I think I wish so much I could have more certainty, but I don't think I can truly move either the nation or our own family forward if we stay chained to the shadows of Blackheart and the past. Certainly not as deeply as we do now. Perhaps the only way to truly forge a new empire, as it were, is to reforge fate as well. Yeah, I think that's the empire that I need to move forward into truly new beginnings. We can't do that while the shadowed soul exists as it does now. And I don't think not giving a united entity a fair chance to make its own way is a good foundation for building that new future. So I think we should see what happens if the Shroud Soul becomes melded, and hope that we can make a world that will I don't know, nurture whatever entity forms into something better than it's been. As the caravan has done for me, really, over this last year, while I had Blackheart's weaving his ichor through me, so... Yeah, I think the world deserves that same sort of chance at a new beginning.
All right, if that is your decision, if that is your final answer,
Final answer.
lock it in, Grant.
Lock it in.
Lock it in. All right, so Oleander, you lift beginning and end high above your head, and for the Emerald Caravan, it's almost a comical sight to see such a small figure lift such a mighty and powerful divine hammer so easily over her head. And you bring it down, crashing, and sparks of creation itself fly as you begin forging fate anew. You watch as the shadowed soul begins merging into one. You see in the distance the Shadowfell itself and the Feywild being pulled closer and closer together until they become one dualistic plane. The Feylight and the Fey Night. As you are merging the shadowed soul, Oleander, for some reason, perhaps the moment of fear that, I don't know, stuck out to me the most from your upbringing was being transported away from your home to the orphanage the first time and feeling lost, alone, and of course, scared and terrified. And there's in the place of where Blackheart and Absinthe were, where the shadowed soul floated before you, is one being, a young girl with jet black hair that just kind of drapes over her shoulders. She's dressed in a midnight robe, and her eyes are like just pits of blackness. And she just kind of looks up at Oleander, and Oleander, you know that this child is scared and terrified, and you may be the first person yet again to actually force Blackheart to feel the very fear that he has made so many others have to suffer. And she just kind of, this young girl just kind of looks up at you and, thank you, Oleander. We promise we're gonna go now and we'll be on our best behavior. We promise.
Okay, well, that's all anyone can ask of each other. Just do your best.
And as you say that, the new entity, almost mortal in feeling, fades from your psyche and departs for the mortal world to probably be seen next campaign. And with that, everyone is freed from the shackles of Oleander's psyche. And unless we have any immediate reactions, that's basically all I have.
Well, I think Oleander probably looks a little different when everybody snaps back to reality.
Hope there goes
'Cause-
gravity.
Because, yeah, the Hammerhead said she could, like, choose how, like, sort of like how, like, what powers she'll have in a way. Like, that was kind of unclear.
So basically, that I just mean, like, if you like want to keep like one of your necromancer abilities, like, feel free. Like, if you want to summon a skeleton once in a while, like I.
That's cool. That's cool. I'll think about those specifics then. But I do know, like, the big difference now that she's gotten rid of Blackheart is that she's not sort of dead anymore. So I think when we snap back, like, she's not immediately, like, totally healthy looking or anything. She's still, like, very thin and tired, but that grayness to her skin is gone now. And her hair isn't, like, dim and flickery. It's, like, a steady, just glowing like a little, like, paper lantern or something.
Bright.
Yeah. And, the big difference, too, is her hands that were, like, all clawed and full of shadowed are back to normal hands now, but I think her skin up to, like, her elbows is still the sort of, like, weird, faded, like, grayscale. Like, her arms were, like, kind of dipped in, like, a black and white TV, like, filter or something.
Nice.
Yeah. But otherwise, she looks and feels different. There's not, like, the coldness radiating off of her anymore. If you're, like, close to her, it actually feels kind of warm. Like, especially from her hair. It's like a little sunbeam next to you now.
Yeah, and I suppose, Oleander, for the first time, you can, like, feel the air on your skin. You feel hungry. You can actually taste the air almost. Like, it's almost like you almost, like, want to gag. It's like, oh my god, the air has a taste to it. It's like you're alive again, actually.
Yeah, like, she doesn't look, like, back to, like, you know, normal, like, photos you've seen of her yet, but, like, you can see and feel, like, something's different fundamentally now. And I think you just sort of see her, like, just this huge unfiltered smile. Like, she has, like, none of her usual, like, stuffiness about her, and she just kind of looks around and everyone goes, I think I am very hungry. Can we go get something to eat?
Oh, absolutely!
Something to eat sounds wonderful.
What is the first meal you want to have?
Have strawberry shortcake.
Ooh. What time of
my
year is it?
favorite.
Tell me, what time of year is it?
I believe we are in the springtime, actually.
Okay, we should be able to find some
Yeah.
strawberries.
You can easily find strawberry shortcake in a castle,
Yes.
or somebody can make. If you
Yeah.
ask Iselbrand, he'll be like, "I'll have someone make you a strawberry shortcake yesterday, or else I will take their head."
There are perks to being nobility.
And I want
There are
it
perks.
extra strawberryly.
Extra strawberry, and so like, you get this incredible. Like, I wish I had my Brian Jakes description feast generator, because like. That is this I imagine strawberry shortcake for the first time after God's knows how long is amazing.
It was her favorite food, so she's just
Aw.
like, yeah, she is still, you know, she has very excellent table manners, but she is freaking putting food away right now.
Just putting it down, leg of mutton, right
Yeah,
here.
pretty
Leg of mutton.
much. Like,
What
she's
sauce?
yeah. She's eating almost like, you know, maybe she hasn't eaten for about a year.
Shit, yeah, it probably feels like it too.
Right? And, like, I don't know, like, this is also a bit of, like, Sam remembering what it was like after my ostomy surgery, and I could, like, start eating food again for a little while. Oh, it was amazing. So, she's going to pretty much spend the night eating herself sick, and then we'll probably go and sleep as long as the party lets her.
Oh, that's
Yes.
right. You can sleep again.
Yeah. So if
Yeah,
nobody wakes
like-
her up, she's gone. She's out for like days if nobody wakes her up.
Like, Versagetrix is like, tucks her in. Gotta make sure we get it under the legs now.
Immediate Bummer House flashbacks.
Oh, absolutely. It like puts the little plushy owl bear next to you.
Oh.
Oh, now we can have true slumber parties.
Oh, it's true.
Now we can have real slumber. Constance is still gonna be up at 4 a.m. for
Well,
training.
yeah. Look, she's gone from sleeping 4 hours a night to like 6. It's fine.
It's an improvement.
Hey, Oleander went from 0 to a fuck ton.
Oh, Oh, and I mean, you know, Constance and Versi are like married now, so if Azara needs some room company, Olander actually needs somewhere to sleep.
Olander's like, shit, I need
Aw,
somewhere to
the new
sleep.
bunk buddies.
Constance, like, I remember being single and bunk buddies.
just abandons versus Generics. Just, I'm sorry, girls' night, bye.
Yes, I will
But
hang out
every
with
night's
Constance.
girls' night.
Forever and ever and ever.
Forever and ever.
Yeah.
You have to hang out with Soren all night? Okay. Like, Soren and Versi just at the bar. Soren, what do you want to do tonight? Pub?
It was girls' night last night, and tonight, and tomorrow night, and every night for the rest of forever.
God damn it.
Versi's that guy who totally goes out with Soren and does nothing but talk about Constance the entire night. And it's super sweet, but really annoying to everyone
Really
else.
annoying. Really annoying. Versi Generous just is like, did you hear? Got a new kid at the orphanage recently. Great. And Soren's like, I was thinking about stopping. No, you're not. You're not mining my orphanage for little watchers. Be gone.
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
Alright, so I'm excited to rework some Oleander stats for the next game.
Hell
Godspeed,
yeah.
Wait, wizard.
I'm pretty excited actually.
God fucking speed, because
I still haven't leveled up Azara since last session, so I need to do that.
Going through 3 different classes over the course of this campaign because I started as Emmy the monk.
Yep.
And then
Oh, yeah.
Mancer,
Dude, I
and now
was
I'll be a wizard.
So I was reading through the class. Oh, I'll save it for after stream because I'm about to be like, dude, monk makes no goddamn sense.
I know. I'm about it later.
Like I've tried
We've
to understand
been there.
it like 5 times now. I've tried it like 5 times. I'm like, nope. But wizard makes sense. It's just a lot of spells to pick.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Get fireball.
Yay!
I mean, I have that now anyway, but,
Yeah, but
you
it's
know,
like it's just
I'll
default
have more of
for
it.
It's default for wizards. That's the
I'm
best
excited.
part.
Oh, I'll have multiple types of damage now.
Whoa.
I've done nothing but negative energy, like, the whole game.
Constance and Azara, paladin cleric, like, yay, undead!
Yay!
Oh, Fuck!
you used negative energy. It wasn't very effective.
Ooh.
But you get like
Ooh.
control undead and shit, right? Or no? Is that like, am I thinking of a different game?
I can, like, there is, like, a command undead thing, and it varies based on, I think, their HP or something.
Oh, that's so difficult.
And
to
it's
track.
still like, yeah, that's the thing, is it's like a lot of those sort of like summon control things are like very HP dependent. But
Ugh.
wizard things are too, like hold monster, which is also hold person, it's just hold whatever. Hold whoevs.
Hold.
Depends on like the HP like max, I think, of the of like the
Oh,
creature
is that
you're
how they,
trying to
like-
hold. Which is one reason I like haven't really used it much because
Yeah, I'm sorry. What's the HP max on a fucking god?
Right? Because it's like, you know, it's like a bunch of, like, you know, like mobs or mooks or whatever,
Yeah.
and then, like, one super baddie, so it's just, like, not super practical. To fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, to be fair, Chris and I have not ran all the combats the way they should be because it's a lot of bookkeeping. Because you have like a lot of different types of enemy. It's very
Yeah.
4E where you have a lot of different enemies.
Mm.
I know we're like just live talking about like the mechanics of the game, but I guess it is a 13th age stream.
And, like,
Yeah.
at this point, we've played almost the full, like, levels.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like it's like everyone has roles in fights in this, and that's actually why the division
Yeah.
of classes feels so nice and even, is that everyone has a specified role, something that I think actually D&D should lean into instead of trying to eschew all the time, because that's how you end up with too many charisma casts.
I like that in 40, yeah.
Like that's how you end up with paladin charisma caster builds dominating. Is what D&D is currently doing. Which I guess isn't a problem if you're power gaming trash like me, but like that's why the balance feels good in this, is like, but then also that translates over to the monsters, and then it's like, oh shit, I'm running like, so the idea is you want to populate your fights with a good mix of all the different planning encounters in this can, like, it's supposed to be easy, but not when I'm making all the monsters myself.
That makes sense. Like, for sure.
So we've successfully averted having one god throne empty, sort of, right?
Yeah, you basically merge the Shadowfell and the Feywild as they are meant to be.
So, so that's one fewer throne we have to worry about leaving empty. That's nice.
Oh, also, that's why Soren needed to fucking be here, because option 3 would have made his book wake up and told us how to merge the dragons. That was the other thing we were gonna get.
Oh, we can get that next week. Yeah.
We'll get that next week. We're gonna learn how to merge the dragons now. So we've unlocked that path.
Yay! Next week, Oleander can just be sleeping.
Dude, Oleander's sleeping for an eternity.
Fair enough.
Like, seriously, if nobody wakes her up, she's sleeping for 3 full days.
Amazing. I mean, Constance will probably wake her up with breakfast in bed the first day, and then be like, "Oh, you want to sleep? Sorry, I'll leave this here. Bye."
Oleander, it's time to go on the... Dude, what are you doing? I'm gonna go wake Oleander. It's time to...
What? Faye can eat now! What better way to celebrate that than breakfast in bed?
It's like of all the party members, Oleander would scare me the most.
Oleander in real life would be terrifying.
Would be.
If we're going by like manga, anime, blood typing stuff, she absolutely has AB blood type.
Like, let's put it this way: if I was if I had to port in my faceless main character into the Emerald Caravan, and I was trying to romance around, I would not be trying to play around on Oleander. Like, I'd be like, "Baby, it's only you." Like, she would kill. She would just go scorched earth on everybody.
Yo, Isidore has no idea how lucky they were that there was a bunch of marrow coming after them. Because otherwise, she would have fucking left his ass.
Honestly, I think letting the marrow eat Isidore was the merciful choice.
So now we
just live with that.
Now we just have a bunch of other thrones in heaven to worry about. Also, fun side note. Oh, and the moon. Fun side note. Constance has decided and not told anybody yet that if Azara ascends, that she's not letting her do it alone.
Oh no, my internet froze for a second there.
So AJ had said that if Constance has decided but has not told anyone, if Azara chooses to stay in heaven, she's staying with her.
No.
Azara's not doing that by herself. But she's not telling Azara because Azara wouldn't let her.
That's true.
That's fair.
She would try to stop Constance.
That's yes,
that
correct.
Soren works so well. He's so sneaky. Azara can't see any of the nice things he's doing. It's like you literally have to be a rogue to win Azara's heart. Stealth check 30.
Oh my god.
Are you being self-sacrificial over there? Stop.
Literally, that is Soren's being. Woe is me for the people I care about. Stop that!
Stop.
Hitting you with the newspaper. Stop it!
No.
Bad Soren.
Oh goodness.
Look, if Constance ascends heavenverse, he's just gonna be like, look, if Minerva stays behind, I'm gonna have to keep an eye on her.
All moving out to heaven.
I'll be back. I'll assume God of Judgment, and heaven's fucked at that point. Anyway, that's been WovenRealm tonight.
Yep, super short.
Yeah.
Nice and short.
Bringing you back to
next
the...
week?
Yeah, we'll be back next week. Bringing you back to the early 2000s Disney Channel days with Mike's Super Short Show.
Basically, I just needed to know what was happening tonight before I could move forward. Because, as you can see, the planes have been rocked to their core, so...
Because as you can see, shit happens.
Consequences for our actions.
Look, actually merging the Shadowfell and the Feywild isn't a bad thing. It just means that now there's a Fey day and a Fey night. Don't know what exactly that's gonna mean. It's not like the Feywild was a fun place for mortals to hang out in anyway.
This is true.
Even what is it? Going to heaven as a mortal can be very difficult on you because it's no one is supposed to be.
Plus, now we have one fewer Darun to deal with. Sorry, Azara.
That's true.
No, you're correct. Azara fucking hates them.
Zara's yes, now can we just delete the whole that whole part of the family
Let's
tree.
just prune that particular tree.
You're gonna have to like, you're gonna be. You're gonna just have to like, you might have just chopped the tree down at that point. But is that not the Dae'Rune's master plan? To integrate themselves so deeply into the gods and everything that no matter where you throw a fucking anything, it'll land on a Dae'Rune. That blade of grass, a Dae'Rune, I swear to God.
Azara's taking up a new position as a lumberjack.
Alright, well, thanks to everybody who was hanging out with us tonight.
And who's coming to hang out in the future. Or if you did come hang out tonight, I'm sorry. That's all I have to say.
Why are you sorry? Yeah, it was shorter than usual. There was a lot of talking, but it was interesting.
I don't know. I'm sorry. It was interesting.
I'm super stoked to respec Oleander a little. It's gonna be fun.
Have fun
Yep.
with that.
Can't wait for the next combat we have. It's gonna be wild.
Seriously.
Wasn't kidding when I wasn't kidding when I said it's gonna be 30 to 40 werewolves.
Yeah, just give old Consterva a bonk. So we get 2 of them.
Oh, there's just one thing I do want to just note.
Ooh, yes. Tell us.
Is Oleander is living now, so she doesn't have a lot of, some of those, like, symptoms of chronic illness that she's been displaying in terms of, like, eating and not sleeping and stuff. But she still has her arthritis. That is just her life. That's not, like, part of Blackheart or anything. So I just want to, like, make it clear, like, her becoming alive again. She's still disabled, chronically ill. It's just kind of like one aspect of it is in remission, more or less permanently.
Look, if Blackheart was trying to like market the whole, hey, take this dark power, I don't think he would be including arthritis in the package. Okay.
I just, like to make it
I know,
explicit.
Oh, absolutely.
So-
No, I completely understand. I'm just giving further reasoning. That being, what sort of demon lord would fucking include arthritis in their power package? Not me.
Well, that's how you know they're an asshole.
Nah, Blackheart just inhabited Oleander and went, what the fuck? Ow!
Dude, why?
Yeah, I know. It sucks, right?
It's not great, I know, right?
Yeah, alright.
Are you sure you want to be in this body?
I'm sorry, that's how
second guesses.
that's how you know we're getting loopy is when we're starting to impersonate each other's characters.
I do it so badly.
It's
Okay.
so good, I love it.
All right. Good night, Gracie. Bye.